Hello everyone, not NoClick here. Today we are looking at the game that I've never played but everyone and their disabled gator girlfriend had played. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. A game regarded as a classic, and as such I never had an occasion to play it. Until now. Also, we are playing the RealRTCW because, well, it's in the name. It's 100% intended experience by the original developers, the Grey Matter Interactive, who, good god, they are thrown into the Call of Duty Shadow Realm. It's the year 1943, and the war between Gooners and anti-Gooners has been raging for a good few years now. Our protagonist, John Dogrock, is one of the finest anti-Goon operatives, and is currently embracing his heritage as a squirrel, and proceeds to unalive his first Gooner of the game. The first chapter of the game is absolute cinema. It flows really well, the secrets are incredibly intuitive.
This belongs to you, sir.
And it's well balanced, allowing you to either go for chicken or beef. There are some personal issues though, like the aiming mechanic. The more I played the game, the more I feel like the feedback from enemies feels rather weak, leaving the player with a feeling that sometimes they just hadn't hit a Gooner and instead hit a wall next to him. Compared to game's contemporaries, it feels like the enemies are lacking a lot of animations to visualize that their guns have been rearranged, but at the same time, this is more of the vanilla game's issue rather than RealRTCW's problem. After leaving the castle and seeing the Gooners to sound suspiciously Slavic,
I hope we get some new blankets soon.
We are free to go ham in the village that lies on the Castle Wolfstone's doorstep. Game ended the invincible army that conquered Europe as they run straight into machine gun fire, and also grow human, a new toy given to us by Jamie fucking Hahnemann, the... We fell down into a hole and wound up in Paris, or rather its undergrounds, where in addition to beating Gooners, we also have to deal with the Frenchmen, as it is protest o'clock in the capital, and they went out of swords, shields, and flying skulls, because as we all know from French History 101, all French are adept in some sort of magical art cross-dressing. This is incredibly problematic, as those guys have not beaten so hard their body fucking explodes, rise up again to bother you more. So take my advice and always double tap, or as it is in case of this dude, blow his ass sky high. As we move through more and more chambers that honestly look like they were ripped from the first wacky woohoo Pizzaman Adventures game, we discovered that not only Gooners have recruited OF models into their ranks, they also started summoning Drachenlord, who kills the remaining Gooners, and after that, we have our first proper boss fight. In the end, he died doing what he loved, that is, eating 12-gauge shells, but honestly, can even the dead die? Like, seriously, consider this, that dead are, you know, technically, clinically dead, so isn't killing them kind of an oxymoron or something like that? Like, when you think about it, like, killing... Welcome to Malta, the hub world for RealRTCW. It features incredibly tall buildings, allied soldiers who got their textures stolen by the Polish, and a couple of cool spots like the museum, another Modern Warfare reference, the bar where you can ask for harnash, or the hospital whose owner totally isn't in. Every time we come back here, there's some sort of an event happening. Sometimes the port is under lockdown, sometimes the plane crashes into walls. And during the final time on Malta, we get an opportunity to loot a smuggler's base, which is pretty cool and provides a distraction from role-playing as a 1920s detective. To proceed with the missions, you have to first listen to your officer yap for a couple of minutes about the next assignment, and then you have to pick out a gear package, which I really like as it encourages experimentation. And hey, if you don't really like the hub, you can just turn it off, just like any other feature in the mod. So for example, if you hate dogs, you can just make them go away. Welcome to the mission where 99 of John Cannon cobblestones gave up, as we're being tasked by the Romanian government to steal self-propelled Freddy Fazbears sent to be developed by the Gooners, as well as sabotage a missile factory along the way, because it's a World War II game from early 2000s. Every single game had a level like that. But first we need to get there, and this is where the fun begins. Back in the original game, this forced stealth section used to be as fun as playing Doom on a pregnancy test, as the enemies have been trained to spot a mere pixel of you, and once they do, they would raise an alarm, thus failing you in the process. In RealRTCW, the developers nerfed John Gravelhound's Ikea in the visual overhaul of the game, thus making him harder to spot, because the guards can't hear the clap of his, you know. Work it, fix it. With our impeccable stealth skills, John K-9 Pebble infiltrates the facility where the Gooners attempt to send out rockets filled with horny gas, because nothing screams an unstoppable and confident war machine like chemical warfare. So we go in and send more things to the great Goon Cave in the sky, finally enabling the rocket to be aborted, causing an explosion that allows us to proceed further into the base. The next map represents how revolutionary the game is by turning it into a walking simulator, as well as once again allowing us to see the incredible tactical prowess of our opponents as they park their truck with their micro spawner in the middle of a fucking airstrip. After clearing said Freddy Fazbear launching facility, which is bigger than 5 football fields by the way, we proceed into the base where we acquire FG-42 from deadly elite Gooners, E-Gooners, and finally steal Freddy so we can get out of here. Welcome to Googlestat, which is currently under bombardment by anti-Gooners as our opponents entered the war under a childish delusion that they were going to bomb everybody and nobody is going to bomb them. Our mission here is to find out the Venom gun and its creator, that silly goober who looks like he owns an air fryer whose alliance is... Oh, that's something. Huh. With the aid of the resistance and a tank, we infiltrate the complex by making everything in our way a past tense, and discover that outside of Swiss chocolate, Gooners have also successfully spliced peanut butter into dogs, and thus turning them into perfect killing machines. And furthermore, we discover that the whole Venom gun is a minigun of some sort, and Gooners have been also trying to create this boss from Doom Eternal, but as usual, somebody had to just fuck up. As it turns out, Venom Gun's creator escaped in... But fret not, as we learned that he fucked off to Norway after some intense interrogation.
We're going to Norway! The coordinates are 67 degrees north by 16 degrees east!
Got back to the place where hell freezes over and Dustborn was created, also known as Norway. You can see that this place is fictional because of that thick-ass soup fog that my snooper rifle can easily overcome with its scope from wish.com. Norway as a level is pretty standard, outside of the fact that this place is so inhospitable that even Gooners are going insane.
Another day like today and I'll be ready for the insane asylum.
Long story short, after 2 burned churches, 1 black metal university, and the only use of gas grenade in this playthrough later, John Jackal Slaps infiltrates the Ikea store, cleverly hidden under the black metal basement. Inside, ignoring the lesbian OSHA violations, we encounter a new type of enemy, the Gooners mutated by the Norwegian toxic piss. Their bodies are dense, almost as dense as people who actually believe that Bloodborne is ever gonna release on Steam. Those dudes aren't gonna go down without a fight, and believe me, they can dish out a lot of damage. After finding the script for Skibbity Toilet Movie that I totally did not forget to grab on the first run through for the map, we find ourselves in a suspiciously arena-shaped room where finally we meet the man himself.
Well, John Mutt Bijou, you are the most impressive of mirrors that the anti-Gooners have ever sent against me.
Hirschköpfchen, I've come to... Oh, sweet baby, Jesus. To kill you!
Bah, please. It is Death's Head. And for this disrespect, it will be my pleasure to torture you by making you watch me eat pierogies without borscht. But first, let me introduce you to someone. Do not confuse it with a mere prototype you would have encountered. This is the pinnacle of lobotomy. Das Ubergooner. The Supergooner.
Ubergooner is the only boss in the entire game that is challenging. Before this arena had 16 times the detail, you could just camp this son of a gun and be done with it. But the real RTCW devs said nah and decided to rework the fight, and as such you are fighting a scut cyber demon with hitscan attacks. As Dev said in between browsing Furry Affinity, he decided that along with Cyber Demon and Tor DNA, he also threw in a couple of ThinkPad laptops for good measure, because this machine resists Panzerfaust with a power of a man that stops at nothing to make people sign his petition. After destroying Dev's hopes and dreams, we now rush to the remaining scientists and see how the bastard escapes to the new order to create human deer hybrid or something. In our last time on Malta, the officer informs us that the final mission is going to stop the Gooner plot to become something beyond human. Beyond Citadel of Monolith Mongrel. And I wish Beyond Citadel would release already. We are dropped near the dump from the Surface Tension chapter on Half-Life, which has been repurposed by the goons to store cheese and sausages. We go in, shoot some bad guys, and go on our merry way to Dragonborn, the other stealth section in the game. In the village, we provide unalive maxing services to 5 Pokemon trainers who distribute illegally caught Pikachus that were generating power for the whole operation, which proved to be a little bit challenging because I had no idea how much ammo I had, and as such I was forced to use non-suppressed guns, which almost immediately caused an alarm to be raised, but... did it fail me? What? Oh, of course, it failed me when I was about to finish the level. Yeah, sure. Alright, yeah, okay. Welcome to the Goon Cave, a place where OF mortals are summoning eldritch monstrosities. We do some house cleaning, involving kicking every Gooner in the stupid face, with a caveat that they lost all chill and are coming out of the woodworks and groves. Complete with venom guns, but they all forgot that shotguns don't really care about their feelings, so... level takes us to now, baby. Complete with women that are hiding in the trees and lesser Ubergooners that are going to appear regularly throughout this and next level. Other than that, this MG crashed my game, which is kinda weird. Welcome to the mines, where instead of children we shoot Gooners. This level is one of the few rare ones that actually broke my patience as I was dying more than Ubisoft stars. I also found this funny spot where an Ubergooner would not be able to hurt me, so I slowly whittled him down with a basic bitch bolt action. Kinda reminds me of that one time when my 2 remaining brain cells argued about the 4th World War. Will it be fought with garbage rods, Brazilian Matsens, or Turkish Mausers? Who knows? The next map brings us to Crypts where... Oh god, I have to fight Fritz again! This map is as good as pulling a prank on your homies. Like the first time where we fought the French, there's an actual diversity in the fights. Both goons and French are fighting in the ruined castle Fido Sepultura, but overtaken by Terraria's Crimson. Picking up millions of RTCW zillions along the way, we finally breach the gates into the courtyard, where you see the epicenter of the ritual which we have to stop. That's it. Mission complete.
For the 20th time, start talking with sense again.
Alright, fine. I'll finally start talking.
Great. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay. We can do this.